Hi guys, this is my last lesson that I will actually be teaching you, and then Mr. Rydell is going to teach 4th grade virtual health moving forward. So he will actually check your assignment. I will be posting the assignment, but he's going to actually making comments on it. For this assignment, we're going to be talking about no smoking and no vaping. So this first video that I'm doing is on no smoking, and I will follow up with no vaping. So what I want to ask you is a serious question. If anyone asked you to put a time bomb in your pocket, would you? Well, of course not. But there are lots of kids that put time bombs right in their mouths, and these are called cigarettes. But the good news is if you have your refusal skills in place and say no, and just know right away, no, I'm never going to smoke, hopefully that will be in line for you, because there's nothing good that's going to come from smoking. And I'm going to go over all of that right now. So your lungs are lined with a mucus and tiny hairs called cilia that trap dust and dirt from the air. And when someone puffs on a cigarette, the smoke he or she inhales or breathes in leaves a layer of chemicals on your throat and lungs. And after a while, the chemicals start to damage and destroy the lining of the lungs. And that's why smokers have a cough, most always, and get more colds and infections than non-smokers. And after many years, the chemicals can cause a horrible disease called emphysema. My grandmother had this, and I would watch her walk, and she had to stop about every 2 to 3 seconds. And she would huff like this. Not being able to get a breath. So eventually she had to go on an oxygen tank, and she had to cart the oxygen tank around her last few years. Now, she did stop smoking in her mid-50s, but the course of action that happened is that she had smoked so much when she was in her younger years, from the age of probably 20 to 50, the damage was done, the lungs were damaged, and she could not reverse what was going to happen in later life when she was in her 80s. So she had to go on the oxygen tank. Now, if you never start smoking, you'll never have to worry about any of that. Of course, there's secondhand smoke where you don't actually smoke and someone else does. And that actually also can harm your lungs, but not as much if you're actually smoking a cigarette. An average smoker smokes about 20 cigarettes a day. And sometimes what can happen is if you smoke a lot too, the chemicals get into your blood, and after years, the blood starts to form a clot or a lump in the blood. And you can get a blood clot, plugs up your heart, and then you might have a heart attack. And then sometimes it might go to a smoker's brain, and then you could have a stroke. Now what happens, the arteries, okay? Right now the blood is flowing through your body normally. Your arteries, pretend in your body, okay? The arteries are tubes that carry the blood from the heart. They're wide right now. But if you start to smoke, the arteries start to narrow, okay? And the blood now can't go through very fast, and it doesn't have a very big space to move through. So things become a lot harder for that smoker. And your heart rate, just sitting here at a desk, would be probably higher. For instance, I don't smoke, never have, never will. But while I'm sitting here, my heart rate might be 70 beats a minute. If I smoke and I sit here, even not doing anything, my heart rate might be 90 or 100 beats. So look, my heart is working harder, and it's beating more, and it's going to wear out more quickly. So if you don't want as many beats, don't ever start smoking, because your heart is going to have to work harder, and it's going to get more beats, and it might wear out a little bit quicker. Okay? There's good news though. Okay? The people that have started smoking can stop smoking. Now for my grandma, it was too late. But if you know someone that you love that's smoking, they can quit. It's very, very difficult to quit smoking because there is a drug called nicotine, and nicotine is very addictive, and people do whatever they need to have that crave, because they crave it and they want it and they need it. So they will continue to try to quit, but the craving will overcome them and they'll just start back up again. Okay? But the good news is if they have the will to quit, and there are things that people can do to help them, okay? They're not going to have a smoker's cough. They're going to be able to taste their food a little bit better. They're not going to be sick as often. They're going to smell good, because a lot of times clothes stink and hair stinks. They're not going to be huffing and puffing and maybe be able to play with you better. They're going to have nice, white, clean teeth. That is, if they're brushing, okay? And nice, clean lungs to breathe in that fresh air. So, there's not one thing that you can tell me that's good about smoking. And your parents and anybody that smokes would tell you smoking's not good. Don't ever start. So have those refusal skills in line. Say no and ignore, make up a reason, know your facts. And it's going to be hard because you'll be peer pressured to possibly start vaping, or you'll be pressured to start smoking. And you just need to know what's going to happen to you, because no one thinks about it when you're a teenager. They want you to start. They want you to get hooked, right? No one thinks about what's going to happen down the road. My grandma didn't. It was cool back then to smoke. It isn't cool, but your friends are going to make you think that it's cool. So, that's what I have for you today on smoking. I will do a short video on vaping as well. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me too through email about any of this. I'm willing to talk to you at any time. Even though I won't be your direct teacher, you can always ask Mr. Idell if you need to get a hold of me. All right? It's been fun working with you. Thank you for doing all my assignments. I know it was maybe a little bit more than some of the PE and your regular assignments at some point, but I'm only doing them every other day. So good luck to you all. Take care.